Frank Field, the Labour chairman of the Work and Pensions Select Committee, told ministers words cannot express horror of universal credit. He said the benefit had become a personal nightmare for constituents. In a debate on the rollout of universal credit, Mr. Field called on government to urgently reduce the initial 6-week wait for money to 4 weeks. I have never more felt the inadequacies of the language that I have to try and tell the House what horror is happening now to a growing number of my constituents under what is called this welfare reform program. Mr. Field said today's debate was the most important one he had taken part in over the last 4 years. He said the 6-week wait for payment is the main force pushing people to no food, risking everything and on the brink of destitution. He said the policy had diverged from what its architect, former Work and Pensions Secretary Ian Duncan Smith, had envisaged. The great architect of this reform, Mr. Duncan Smith, couldn't ever have envisaged that this is where a reform of noble intent should actually end, in this personal nightmare for our constituents. MPs debated reducing the waiting time for universal credit from 6 weeks to 4 weeks. Image TV grab. Frank Field said he didn't have the words to explain how bad this situation is. The long-standing Birkenhead MP gave examples of 5 constituents who were pushed into financial difficulty and 1 who was made homeless as a result of universal credit. He said one case which began some time ago but came into town for help from their MP yesterday, the day of the rollout, was of a gentleman who had waited for an operation at our local hospital. Universal credit recap. Labour wins vote on reducing waiting time on bungled benefits. Shake-up at the Tories don't vote. That operation was taking place when he was told to turn up for an interview at our job centre, plus, he was sanctioned. A friend reported in yesterday that this constituent of mine is now homeless and, while being homeless, struggling to recover from that surgery. There is constituent 3 who has a 4-year-old daughter who waited 2 months for universal credit to be processed, tried the hotline 6 times but was told a new system was in place and it took them several days to phone her back. She was then told, wow, no claim could be found. Her payment date was pushed back by a further 11 days. My constituent and her daughter went hungry.